Am I the asshole don't want to create an expense report for my so's inheritance money? I have supported us financially for nearly 8 years. He quits jobs like he quits styles, so I have been the breadwinner, and often the only source of income, for our entire relationship. His father died recently, and he inherited some money. Now he wants an itemized report of where every dime of his money goes. Like, I get that he wants to make sure the money is spent wisely. But I have always cleared every purchase with him, even when it was my money, because I feel like it is our money, our income, even if it was my paycheck. Now he suddenly inherits money. For perspective, it's still less than my salary, so we're not talking millions of dollars or anything crazy, and wants to know where his money is spent. I said, okay, I will do that for you, but I find it interesting that you never questioned how the money was being spent when it wasn't yours, and it was ours. I've now decided to withdraw his money from the checking account and hand him his cash so he can spend it and keep track of it himself, in the morning, when the bank opens, so he's pissed and doesn't understand why I'm pissed. Am I the asshole for getting mad that my partner wants to account for every dime of his money, when I've been supporting us for 7+ years and he's never been interested in our finances prior? Edit. Rip my inbox. I've had a lot of DMs, comments saying the same thing, so I'll just address it here. I can't just evict him, he is on the lease and has tenants' rights. It would cost $2,200 and a 60-day notice to break the lease, which only has 3 months left anyway, so that option doesn't make sense. We aren't married, no kids, nor do I want or can have them anyways, so I don't need to worry about divorce or the future children. It was a life insurance payout, so legally it wouldn't be seen as income or communal property. Although the fair, respectable thing to do would be for him to make it part of our household, he doesn't have to, nor can I make him do so. No, he doesn't have a magical dick. Lol, I have to say that comment made me laugh the most, thanks. Update. I told him we will be opening a separate account with his inheritance money in it. He can get a job and direct deposit into said account if he chooses, but the purpose of the account is to separate his money from mine. We hate our apartment, so neither of us were planning on staying here after the lease anyways. Not sure what the living situation will look like afterwards, but we both know we need to plan on moving within the next few months. We are dividing the money, not 50-50, because I don't think that is appropriate given it being his inheritance money, and I will have a portion of it to repay some of the expenses he's cost me over the years. I broke down his annual expenses, again, and told him he can either pay for it out of his money or get a job. I don't care where the money comes from, but paying his share of the bills is non-negotiable. Again, this won't be a 50-50 split. I make decent money and don't want to run through his inheritance in mere months, but he needs to be responsible for himself. He looked shocked but agreed with my terms. I've always been fair, or given myself the shorter end of the stick, because I know I can bounce back faster than he can, so he had no reason to distrust me from the beginning of this. I think he realizes that now. He knows he's impulsive and piss poor with money, and I've always made sure he was provided for. Hopefully this was the wake-up call he needed. If not, at least it will be over in a couple months. Not the asshole. And while you are at it, divide all the bills in half so he can spend his money in his half and you can spend your money on your half. Maybe this will wake him up to see that it is a team effort when you are married. Not the asshole. This sounds really controlling and immature. Big red flag. Send him an itemized bill for the past 8 years of expenses. Seriously. Not the asshole. Get out of the relationship, you deserve better. Obviously not the asshole. If he wants to track where all his money is being spent, why shouldn't he do it himself? Not the asshole. Let this experience be a wake-up call for you. Not the asshole, but if you're looking for a house husband, I'm your man. I don't work, but I have a pension, so I can pay my fair share. Not the asshole. The cash idea is brilliant. Let him deal with it if it's his money. Not the asshole. If I had to guess, I'd say you're in this relationship because you're afraid of being single. I can't think of a single reason why you would support someone who doesn't care about how much you're doing for them, who doesn't appreciate you, and the minute they get some money for themselves they treat you like you're the one being supported here. Not worth it. There's better out there for you, hun. But you won't ever find it 'cause you're too busy being caretaker to a selfish, lazy Am I the asshole for not giving my friend a home? Me, 32 female, and my husband, 36 male, have a 3-month-old baby. It's been very stressful and I've had really bad PPD, so it's taken me a while to come to terms with life again. I'm getting there but still very fragile. I have a friend, Terry, 45 female, who I've known for a couple of years. She's been fine, we aren't great friends but we're okay. She's from Italy so doesn't have many friends here and came here with her husband. She doesn't work or have any interest in working. Edit. It's unclear if she can work due to her visa but she has never stated she can't work, just that she actively chooses not to. Edit 2. I asked a mutual friend and they said that she can legally work and has done occasional jobs here but then didn't want to, so stopped. Me and my husband have recently bought a 4-bedroom house for our growing family. It's really stretched us financially, but will be worth it in the long run. So the issue. Terry has recently had to leave her husband. Turned out he was secretly taking drugs and he was pretty horrendous to her. She came to stay with us for a few days after it happened and it was really intense. I cried most nights as I couldn't support her and manage my own stuff, and she just wanted to be involved in everything when I needed, and asked for a bit of space. Eventually, 5 days later, I sat her down and asked her to find somewhere else to stay as I was really struggling. She was fine with it and we spoke for a while about why. A friend of hers paid for her to stay in an Airbnb for a month, which is great. But she's now running out of days. She's called me a few times crying, saying she will be homeless and has no one else to rely on and I need to pay for her Airbnb or give her a room. I've really struggled with this because as much as I want to help a person in need, I really can't live with her, and she's already told a mutual friend that she plans on just staying with us for a year till she has to go home. I spoke to some friends and they are divided on it. Some say I'm the asshole for not offering her a room when we have space, and others have said my mental health is too fragile to manage it. Internet citizens, what say you? Edit and update. Thank you to all the lovely internet people for all the kindness. I didn't expect this response and feel very reassured that I can look after me and my baby first. A few things to answer some common questions. 1. Terry doesn't want to go back to Italy till the divorce is sorted, as she needs to get her stuff and feels this is her home. 2. I discovered from another friend that she was offered a room at someone else's home and declined as they were too social and she was worried about the global issue. I don't think she'll actually become homeless, I think she'll just have to lower her expectations. 3. I'm very lucky as I have good support, therapy and medication for PPD. It's still hard but my family and husband have been amazing. Thank you to everyone wishing me well. 4. I am reconsidering the friendship with the folks who said I was a bad person, asshole for not letting her stay. It does seem a bit off, so I am not really sure whether I want to continue the friendship. 5. After a chat with my husband, we agreed that we would likely be going low or no contact with Terry for a while. I can make sure she isn't homeless through another friend, but we felt that I just needed to protect my mental health for all of our sakes. Thank you, lovely people. Collectively you have lifted a weight from my mind and soul. Not the asshole, not even a little. Terry could have looked for a job, filed for divorce, or found other arrangements. Instead, she decided to come back to your home, where she will presumably mooch off of you, not paying rent, utility, or food. You need to prioritize yourself here. PPD is no joke. New parenting is hard. Terry can find another person to mooch off of. Why aren't the friends calling you the asshole offering to give her a place to stay? Not the asshole. Not the asshole. You are stressed, stretched financially, and have a new baby. You are already undergoing 3 of the biggest stressors in life: a move, a child, and financial concerns. You helped your friend to the extent you could but cannot be this person's lifeline forever. It's not clear why she wants to extend her stay there if she has to go home in a year anyway. But her telling others she wants to abuse your hospitality and stay for a year without telling you that up front is another red flag in the whole situation. If you are out of spoons and emotional bandwidth, it's not being the asshole to set your boundaries. Not the asshole. Terry needs to find a job and be a mature, responsible adult. She made her own decisions to be married to an active drug user, known or not, and refused to pick up any skills to help her get her life together. There are plenty of options out there for her, and I hope others can tag resources for women in this situation. Not the asshole. I feel for her to a certain degree, but no interest in working when she's facing homelessness. How's she even going to be paying for her other needs like food and drink? No, sorry, she's a grown-ass adult. That being said, even if she was going to get a job, it doesn't sound like you can host her anyway. For one, you have a newborn. Then add on your fragile mental health? And you're not super close to her? If you can't, then you just can't. Those judging you should feel free to open up their homes instead, since they're so happy to lend out yours. Not the asshole. Even if you didn't have PPD, She is expecting to stay in your home for free for a year. Heck no. She needs to get a job. Not the asshole, excuse me? Who the heck does she think she is? It's not your responsibility to take care of her, she's old enough. If she can't support herself, then maybe she should return to Italy and rely on her family network there. And this is not meant racist, I'm living abroad myself and would go back to my home country if I couldn't support myself anymore. Not the asshole. After 5 days before you had to tell her to get out. She plans to stay with you for a year? Interesting, she told another friend this, not you. You have too much going on with a newborn as well as ensuring your own well-being. You cannot have the stress and strain of a freeloading houseguest for a year. What plans has she made to be self-supportive? She's had a month at an Airbnb someone else paid for. Is she looking for work? Were there no marital assets? She has to figure this out. It's not a good time for you and it's a huge favor for someone who you aren't great friends with. Am I the asshole for not letting my younger siblings break my brand new computer and VR setup? 2 weeks ago I told my family at dinner that I was using some money I had saved up to finally build my dream PC setup, or as close as I can afford. About $5,500 United States dollars in total, something I won't have to worry about for years to come kinda deal. I, 23, still live with my parents but pay rent and utilities to help the house. My 2 younger siblings, 20 male, and 14 female, have a habit of destruction when it comes to tech. Brother and I often fought over PS2 discs getting left out and scratched up. And my sister is just outright unsympathetic to damaging other people's things. So FF to yesterday and my new setup is up and running and I'm doing installs and what have you. Then at dinner I am excitingly talking about it and gushing over everything when my mom pipes up and asks if siblings will be allowed to play on it and with VR. I thought for a second and said no unless I was supervising, and even then I would be hesitant. Mom gets visibly upset and says to an extent, "You're at work a lot so why not let them play when you are out? You aren't using it." What follows is a heated argument over my house versus my income, my property, with me ultimately and utterly refusing to allow any of them to use it, aside from father cause he is chill as fuck and understands boundaries. My mother and sister retort with, trust issues and family vote. Brother tapped out and went to his room and ceased to be an issue after we talked one-to-one. Leading to supervised use when allowed. At the apex of the now screaming match I just left and stopped all my downloads to secure my computer with passwords and hidden external hard drives with all important files to play stuff. Thus making it nearly impossible to use without them. This morning before I left for work, I informed my mother and sister about this and locked my bedroom altogether to prevent them from trying anything. Only to head to work and get told by my brother that they went and tried anyhow. And then I kinda exploded via a phone call, calling out my mother and such. Causing her to cry and claim I'm being an asshole for not catering to her and allowing her to get their sticky fingers on my new setup. So the asshole, and do any of you have advice on to handle this going forward? Edit to add a little more context. While moving out is a valid option for me at this time, it is also a risky one. Rent for my area is not kind as most of it is prime property due to my area being a hotbed for wealthy people's summer homes. My family and I have always been on good standings and fights like this are rare, so I was caught off guard when my mother challenged me. I love my family and would rather try and mediate than outright leave, as that would most likely be seen as abandoning the house. If I were to leave I would want it to be during a good point of relation. Parents are very attached to us, been planning on moving into an apartment with significant other next year anyway. Some others were saying if you could afford the setup you can afford to move out. I saved up that money slowly over about 3 years and over $600 was a gift from my grandmother for doing odd jobs on her farm over a summer even though I didn't expect to be paid. I worked really hard to save up that money without crippling my account balance. And again thank you for all your input. I'm still at work but will keep all of you updated if things escalate. Not the asshole. I would have used that $5,000 to move out of mom and dad's instead of a new gaming setup. Not the asshole. Gaming devices and technology are expensive and fragile. It would take you so long to save that money back up and you earned it yourself. You're an adult and it's 100% your hard-earned money that you spent. Ergo it's 100% your property. You're not a kid that needs to share everything, especially if it's specifically set up to your needs, e.g. if it's overclocked, and risks being damaged easily. Going forward, You have to gently but firmly establish boundaries. If they try any way to access your things against your explicit wishes, then you have the right to set ultimatum. Worst comes to worst, get something legally binding to say that if they break it they pay for it. Not the asshole. Maybe it is time to move out. If you're this financially independent and pay rent, perhaps you just need your own space. Not the asshole. Your mom and sister are clearly the asshole here. You are paying rent, you bought the PC with your money, so it's your room and it is your computer. Them trying to enter is honestly so messed up. I feel for you, op. It's perfectly normal to have trust issues when one party continuously breaks your trust, as in this case. Your mom can buy them a system for them to destroy. Not the asshole. Not the asshole. Yes, it is her house, but you pay rent and you pay for your things, so she isn't entitled to any of it. A landlord can't just take your things, so neither can she. Emo. I would set a system password in BIOS, so they need a password just to get the computer to boot up. Not the asshole, but if you just keep the yelling matchup it becomes esh. What's yours is yours. Sit mother down and explain your POV. If she is still adamant, you have 3 legit choices. Emo. 1. Move out. 2. Buy a lock for your door and be ready for continued fighting, or 3. Get mother to sign agreement where mum and dad are financially responsible for the computer when it gets broken by your siblings in any way. Be it replacement parts, repairs, or a whole new system equal to its created financial cost. Update. Am I the asshole for accidentally calling out a new colleague on lying about her language skills? So a couple of months ago things went down with a new colleague who was lying about her language skills. Original here. Many people gave the advice to go to HR. Others said not to go to HR because that would be escalating the situation. I decided not to go to HR right then, but I did take the advice to write down what happened, with the time and the names of the other colleagues present just in case. I thought the situation might blow over, because Kathy was probably just embarrassed. Well, I was wrong. Kathy kept being cold to me, rolling her eyes at me in meetings and talking behind my back. Another colleague came to confront me at one point to ask me why I'd been so mean. Apparently Kathy was telling a different version of what happened. Kathy said that I'd said mean things to her in Dutch and was making fun of her in Dutch, so no one else but her could understand. She was smart enough to only tell these stories to colleagues who weren't actually there for it. Word got around and it turned into a bigger issue, with a couple people actually questioning my character, mostly just colleagues that don't work very close to me. HR got wind of it after a while and I got called in close to a month after the incident. They had already met with Kathy and she told them that she cursed me out in Dutch and was very mean to me. Story. I told them the full story and everything that happened after. They asked me if there was anyone else present who could confirm this, so those colleagues came and told them that Kathy had lied about speaking a language, stormed out and then started calling me a B-word etc. to others. They thanked me for my time and I got on with work. Nothing happened until a week later when I was informed that Kathy was asked to leave. Apparently Kathy had doubled down on the lies and told everyone I was the one lying, and she did speak those languages, so my boss told her in that case she'd have no problem talking to one of our Canadian colleagues, who wasn't involved in the situation, in French in front of him, just to confirm. At this point Kathy admitted she had been lying. It turned out she didn't speak a word of French either, or Norwegian, which was the third language she was lying about. This was enough for them to let her go, because part of the reason they hired her was that they were so impressed by her speaking multiple languages and work experiences she'd had abroad. The work experiences were made up as well. I'm just happy it's over. I'm confident it wasn't really my fault it blew up now. If it wasn't me who caught her in a lie, someone else probably would have down the line. The few people who kind of believed her ended up coming to me and apologizing for questioning me about what happened, so that's all sorted. Edit. Some people asking why they didn't test her language skills in the hiring process. Our jobs don't actually require us to speak Dutch, French or Norwegian. I think they probably just saw it as a plus, or something that made her stand out from other candidates. Kathy at next job. Okay, no common languages. I speak a dead language. Colleague. Oh, really? Say something. Kathy, sweating. Dead language as in speaking to the dead. Colleague. Kathy, panicked. I previously worked at the coroner's office. I would love to know what was going through Kathy's mind when she decided to escalate and double down on the lies. I remember reading this and thinking, why TF would someone lie about being able to speak another language? It's such an easily found out lie and it's laughable, haha. Nice. I remember reading your story 3 or so months ago and it was one of the most memorable in my Amy the asshole experience. Thanks for updating. I was wondering how this would ultimately play out because Kathy seemed like the sort who wouldn't know when to shut herself down, and so it seemed inevitable HR was going to get involved sooner or later. Glad things went so well for you. She only has herself to blame. She sounds like a sociopath who gets by in life through lies and manipulation. Liars get used to having their lies believed, and they really don't like it when people call them on their lies. You didn't even do it on purpose. You just inadvertently exposed her with your very rude GUESTURE of friendship. Sorry you caught trapped in her warpath. Hopefully moving forward your colleagues and supervisors can recall this experience as a testament to your integrity. And this is why I make sure to downplay my understanding of other languages I can sometimes kind of follow the theme, XD lying about knowing a language you don't know will 99% of the time come back and bite you in the LMAO. She could have swallowed her pride and walked out of there with a job and 4 people knowing she's an idiot, but she doubled down 5 times over and now the whole office, Reddit and my mum knows.